I'm Sean, and I'm an indie iOS developer that makes the app called Sofa, which helps it be more intentional with your downtime. Now, I normally make videos about design, development, my process, and everything I do to build Sofa, but photography is one of my favorite hobbies at this point, and I wanted to share a little experience that I had that I think might be helpful. And basically that experience is around the fear of taking photos in public and in front of other people, and how the Ricoh GR III kind of helped build my confidence with that. So if you've never heard of the Ricoh GR or the GR series itself, so essentially they're very compact cameras, and they have a very large APS-C size sensor in them, so much larger than what's in your phone. And they take incredible images. There's a GR3 and GR3X with 2 different focal lengths. And I've been using one since 2022, I think. And they're super compact and really give great results. So I didn't get serious about taking pictures until probably during 2020 at some point, around COVID or whatever. I had used cameras before that to do YouTube videos and to take pictures, but it really stuck in 2020, and it's only gotten deeper and worse as time has progressed. Like, I just love it more and more. And when I was first starting to really learn more about photography and all the different gear and settings and how you actually use it and how to take good pictures, I was finding that I was uncomfortable taking pictures in front of other people, whether out in public, or even at like family events too, which is really weird. I wouldn't consider myself a shy person. I'm definitely more introverted, but I'm very comfortable talking to people in public. It's not a problem. And it kind of surprised me how uncomfortable I was to literally pull out my camera. Like, I would bring my camera places, and then I would be essentially shy to pull it out and start taking pictures. And I think what I learned is that I'm not someone, even though I'm okay talking to people and approaching people and stuff, I do not like to draw unnecessary attention to myself. And it's one of the reasons why I wear more muted colors, like this shirt. You know, it's usually like black, dark blue, that kind of stuff. I don't like to stand out in a crowd. And I felt like, oh, if I have my camera out and I start taking pictures, everyone's going to start looking at me, and it's going to draw all this attention to me. And so I just never really did it. And it was kind of a bummer, because like, I wanted to take pictures. I had a camera, and I just wasn't doing it. Now, in April of 2022, I took a trip with my brothers to Chicago, and we had to pack very, very light. And I saw this as an opportunity to try out the Ricoh GR III. And because I didn't have room for my larger Sony camera, we were literally just taking one bag. And so I picked up a Ricoh GR III, and that was the only camera I used for that trip. And I like instantly fell in love with the camera. And there was something interesting about it, where it was the only camera I used on the trip, and we walked around for hours for a couple of days. And the thing, it had this effect of, like, I don't know if anyone's ever experienced this, where you put on a pair of sunglasses and you instantly feel more confident because you're covering your eyes, and you feel like, oh, well, my eyes are covered, so therefore I feel more confident, right? It's totally a mental game that's being played there. And the fact that the Ricoh GR was so small, it felt like I was wearing sunglasses and no one was really looking at me, and I could just take pictures very, very freely without any concern of people looking at me and all that kind of stuff. And that trip was a great trip, just hanging out with my brothers, but then being able to take pictures so freely, it was so much fun. And I continued to use the GR more and more, after that. Now, as I was continuing to use the GR, and I kind of swapped between the GR3 to the GR3X, and then I went back to the 3, I learned something interesting where people actually did notice me, right? And you hear so much stuff online of like, oh, the GR is so small that you will never be noticed, right? You're so inconspicuous. And it's true to a point, but in my experience, I have noticed that if you have any camera that isn't your phone, that is unusual for people because most people just use their phones. And so if you're using even a tiny little point and shoot like a Ricoh GR, or if I'm using my bigger Sony cameras, people still notice. And I remember when someone first kind of said something to me, they're like, oh, what's that camera? And I did not expect that person to even notice that I had a camera. And obviously in hindsight, I was like, well, duh. I'm using a camera out in public. Of course, people are going to see it, especially like, even if you're not pulling it up to your eye, there's no viewfinder anyway, but like, even if you pull up to your face or shooting level, people are going to notice that. Now, the thing I learned is that really the size of the camera doesn't matter, whether I'm using a small camera or a large camera. People are going to notice that I'm using a camera. And in reality, most people don't care. They really don't care. And this has been so helpful for me because, again, I love taking pictures and I love using my big Sony cameras because they have better resolution, better ergonomics. I can change the focal length with different lenses that I have. And I find that the Ricoh has built my confidence in just being more comfortable taking pictures, where it's like, again, it's like kind of like the Ricoh was like kind of that pair of sunglasses that I needed to get more comfortable with taking my camera out, taking pictures in front of people, especially at like family parties and stuff, or just hanging out with family in general. It's like, looking back, it's so weird that I was feeling uncomfortable about that, but you know, our brains are weird about stuff. So anyway, so these days I actually find myself using my Ricoh less than I used to. And I think that's specifically because I'm much more confident using my camera in public. And I'm okay with taking my larger camera out with a larger lens and not feeling weird and not feeling like everyone is staring at me, because they're probably not, to be honest. And if someone notices I have a camera, then so what? There's no difference than if they notice I'm wearing a hat or a certain pair of shoes or whatever. And people may glance for a second, but then they kind of move on with their lives. It's really not a big deal. And again, I'm not using the Ricoh less because I don't think it's a good camera. It's an amazing camera. It's really just because for the types of images that I want to take and the shooting experience that I want to have, I actually prefer using the larger cameras. The ergonomics of the larger cameras, and again, I can switch out the different focal lengths for, you know, if I just want to use a certain prime, or maybe I want to use a zoom lens or something like that. Having the options is really nice, because the GR is just a fixed focal length. Yeah, it's been a very helpful experience and kind of a surprising one. I didn't expect the Ricoh to have that kind of effect on me, but it's been such a helpful tool in kind of my growth in photography and becoming more comfortable taking pictures in general. So if you're someone who's new to photography, or you just have a fear of taking photos in public or in front of friends and family, you know, I would seriously think about using something like a Ricoh, or, you know, any other kind of very small compact camera, or honestly even your phone, right? Just being more intentional about that stuff. And just do it a little bit more over time, and maybe even wear a pair of sunglasses at the same time so you feel even more confident. Yeah, I've been very happy with how I've become more comfortable, because now I feel like I'm getting better images since, you know, I'm taking my gear out much more. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.